All right, we have to take a break. I want to get back into that when we come back from this break. My guest, Dick Criswell, and this is going to rock and roll, so don't go away. We'll be back on the other side of this break. My guest is Dick Criswell, and we are talking about his work when he was with AlphaCom. Now, before we had to go away for the break, we just got started talking about X-Files, and you said that Dr. Wolf told you that X-Files was what?
Told me that it was based on fact. Are you taken back of that, or what? I hear a sigh.
Well, you know, I actually have suspected that great parts of the X-Files were based on fact. You know, one of the things that worries me about it, though, is how much of it was based on fact, because there's this deal with this sort of alien virus, this black oily substance that gets into people, and is that reality?
I don't know that for a fact. You know, I have not seen any documents to that effect, so I can't say for sure.
There's been a great deal of speculation about the Antarctic in relation to perhaps either a buried alien craft or base. One of the interesting things to me is the magnetic anomaly that exists at the north end of Lake Vostok, 65 by 45 square miles. That's big. Do you have any knowledge of that, or if you can talk about it, or if you can't talk about it, just tell us. But I mean, you know, that was in the X-Files movie that there was
Yeah, I had seen some documents to that effect, but I really don't care to comment on that at this time.
All right. Now, when Dr. Wolf made some rather amazing appearances on radio shows, and there were some video clips that are out there. I think they're still out there, actually, with him talking about certain things. And one of the things that was of great interest to me was comments about Mars and possible bases on Mars. Now, Mars is something that just fascinates the entire human race, and there's been a lot of speculation about why, even to the point of a theory that we are the descendants of surviving Martians that fled some great cataclysm on Mars. What about bases on Mars? Did you run across any information about that?
Yes, and I was exposed to that particular thing. I think it was at the early part of my indoctrination to the AlphaCom team, and it stated that most of the bases now were underground, to where you couldn't see anything if they had a flyby, you know, with a mission up there.
Mm-hmm. Well, whose are they? Are they our bases? Are they alien bases? And if alien, are they friendly?
I know this is going to shock some people. Of course, this whole program probably will. But we have been on, according to the documents that I've seen, we have been on Mars for, oh, my God, since the early 60s, I think, and even further back. I'd have to look at those documents again, but the early 60s, I believe, is what I've seen in the documents.
So we were on Mars before the NASA landing on the moon.
That's correct. Why are we using that antiquated equipment to put us up there to the Skylab? That's my question.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Especially, you know, Stanton Friedman.
Oh, yes, I know Stan.
he, back in the 60s, I think it was in the 60s, worked with a team that built and successfully ground tested atomic-powered, nuclear-powered rocket engines. And then NASA said, okay, well, that's good. You boys can go home now. We're going to use this solid rocket fuel. And, that sort of thing makes no sense at all. But they did it. Why do we have bases on Mars? Why are we there?
It's rich in deposits of various different things that we need. And it's a strategic, how should I say this? It's a strategic advantage for us to have bases up there to see if anything's coming in. Asteroids, aliens, whatever,
Speaking of things coming in, there are two things that come to mind. One is this planet Nibiru, or perhaps it's a brown dwarf, that Zecharia Sitchin has told us about from the documents left by the Sumerians. Any documents about that at AlphaCom?
No documents, but I am in contact with a couple, should I say, officials that are watching that real close and feel that it's pretty touchy at this point. Could go either way. And do I think that they would ever let us know that we have a problem coming in? No.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's not fair, but I mean, for your part of it, that's fair enough. Well, the other thing that comes to mind is this movie Independence Day. Now, on Independence Day, or in the movie, these huge, just phenomenally huge craft surround the Earth and begin its destruction. How much reality is behind that?
Well, like I said earlier, there are groups that have our best interest at heart, and then there are groups that would rather blast us out of here. But I think, now this is my own personal opinion, I had not heard one way or the other. I think that they are being controlled by another group. So if that answers your question.
When you say you think they are being controlled by another group, you mean the ones that want us out of here are being controlled by someone else?
Yes. Mm-hmm. By, I got a bigger gun than yours, mm-hmm. kind of scenario.
Do we have the capability of fending them off?
Sending them what?
Fending them off. Do we have the capability of defending ourselves?
Well, let's put it this way. We have things in our arsenal that haven't even been shown yet. Just like when the stealth plane came out,
uh-huh.
That was probably, and I know that I'm going to sound kind of funny when I say this, but I have seen the documents that showed that we're 50 years ahead of anything that we think that we have now. So I would say, yes, we probably do have something that fends them off, similar in nature to like a rail gun.
I was watching a television show just last night where they were showing the rail gun. Now, a rail gun uses no explosives to fire a projectile. It uses an electromagnetic pulse to fire a projectile. But I was told by someone else, this was years ago, this was 1992, I was told, that we have and have battle-tested a zero flight time weapon, meaning no projectile, speed of light.